to live. And he knew that we would have things in our life. He knew things would lay heavy on us. But even in that, he told us to cast those things on him, which means that you pray about those things and you leave them with him, so that when we walk away, we're still feeling light and free.
Yes.
Yes.
Amen.
But it also means to learn by use of practice, which means the more I do it his way, the more I have learned, the better I get at it, which brings me to living life freely and lightly. So as I learn the things that I learn and I begin to practice those things, I might not get it the first time, I might not get it the second time, but the more I do it, the better I get at it. So the more I begin to lean into his way, I begin to lean on him and do things the way that he wants me to do. I can obey in my ear and in my heart,
Yes.
which will produce and help me to live free and help me to live light.
Amen.
Yeah, I mean, it's the real rest of God, brings a tranquility and brings a peace, to our souls. And, and the thing about it is that the real rest of God, even as we're taught, we cease from our own ways, our own words, and our own pleasures. And we don't give ourselves to the things of the enemy that when they come, those are the things that bring the burdens. Those are the things that bring the unequal yokes. So we just have to learn to be able to trust God for what he says and then be able to move into things that God is saying. Listen to this. It's Matthew. Well, same thing, but it's Amplified Bible. It says, "Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am gentle, meek, and humble, lowly in heart, and you will find rest, relief, and ease, and refreshment, and recreation, and blessed quiet for your souls." That sounds like another infomercial.
Yeah, that would make me feel like I took a swim. I just dived through the water, just got clean. It's just a refreshing, and that's what God wants to bring to us. He wants us to bring a refreshing, and we can use some of this gentleness and this humbleness and this meekness. We can use some of it, but that all brings a rest. But one of the things that you said was a real rest.
Yeah, come on.
And I don't think we really know what a real rest is. I think we have pockets of it. We have moments of it where everything just seems to be copacetic. Everything is cool. But then something happens and it brings us right out of it. That's not a real rest. We're talking about a rest that stays. It grounds you. It's an anchor so that even when things happen, you're not flying off the handle. Because when things happen, we're really supposed to go more internal. So the more that's happening out here, the more on the inside we have to go. Because that's where our rest is. That's where our anchor is. That's where our peace is. So he wants us to come into this place and be refreshed and be released from all that's out here. All the noise, all the distractions, all the ups and all the downs. He wants us to come away and be refreshed by his spirit. When we come in here, he don't want us to be overburdened and we can't hear the word. We're supposed to leave all that on the outside. Not that we don't have things going on, because we got things going on. But we have to go more internal. We have to settle more on the inside.
It says, as people of God, it says, we put ourselves in so many situations, make so many decisions in our own, and for some reason, things never work out. When we are yoked with God, his burdens are easy. And just like as my wife was saying, it's just something about being able to come into the house of God, or just being able to just to be out and about, to not have to worry about certain things, most of the time, even as we, we go down to the mission sometimes, myself and Marcus, and we try to encourage the people, and we try to let them see things from a different perspective. Sometimes when we don't really begin to trust God, we go on our own and we begin to do things on our own and we begin to make decisions on our own. But when we go down there, we try to encourage them to give God a chance. Because if you never give God a chance, you won't get different direction. You won't get different perspectives. We're not here to change on how you do things. We're here to let you know how to see things differently.
Amen. Amen.
That's what happened to us when we came here. We saw things, we knew of some things, but as far as seeing things the way that we see them now, whole total different thing now. You know, God came in and He began to open up the eyes of our understanding. He came in and began to do some things with us. And that's why as you get closer and closer and closer with God, that's when it's easy to be yoked with Him.
Yeah, I want to talk about, you said make decisions on our own. And for some reason things never work out when we are yoked with God. His burdens are easy. Okay, so many situations because we make decisions on our own. See, when we make decisions, we don't understand. It's not about good or bad. It's about a weight. And see, some things we get into, we can get into relationships. We can get into some financial things. We can get into a lot of things. And it's not about good or bad. It's about, does it take your attention? Is it conducive for what God is calling you to in your life? And so we look at things and we make decisions and we don't say, well, how does this fit with my life? And that's what we have to do. We have to say, well, how does this relationship fit with my life? Can I still do what I need to do and be connected to this? Can I connect to this and still do what God wants me to do? See, some of these decisions we make, it put unnecessary stress on us. It put unnecessary burdens on us. So by the time we come to church, we like, I'm wore out, I'm tired. I hope the praise and worship team got it this morning, Lord, because I sure don't. Or we come in and they doing what they're doing, but we can't even connect because our mind is still on all of this. See, some things will require so much of your strength, so much of your time. Some relationships can be so high maintenance that it's wearing you out and you're wondering what it is. And it's the things that you're bringing in your life that God don't want you necessarily to bring in your life. And it's not saying you can't have a mate and you can't do this and you can't do that. But how does it fit with your life? Can I still connect, truly connect the way God wants me to connect? And does this thing that I'm trying to connect myself, does it bring a peace? Not do you like it, not do it makes me feel good. Well, I have peace with it for a second and then next week I'm like, ugh. These are the things that God is saying. We put so many things on ourselves, so many unnecessary things. And God is saying, get away from all that stuff. It's weighing you down. You can't even run.
Amen. God is expected a lot, you know. But, oh well, I mean, it's His life anyway, so... You know, we might as well just submit to the things of God and allow God to do what He has to do.
Because the requirement is not going to change. He's not going to change what He said. He's not going to change the word for you. He's not going to change the way He wanted it done for you. He's not going to wink. He's not going to do any of that. It's going to have to be His way. There's no negotiation. I know we try to say, well, God, if you do this, then I'm going to do this. And most of the times we're saying what we give to Him is not even what He wants. It's about what God is requiring from you in this season. What does God want from you in this season? And the things that you're connected to, is it conducive for that season? If God is saying, okay, you know what? You're in a season of prayer. I want prayer. That's what you need to be focused on offering up to God. And if you connected to things that can't allow you to offer that up in that season, you connected to something that it shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. And I do believe that we are in a season of prayer. We're in a heavy season of prayer. And we know on Tuesdays, we don't hardly have nobody coming out. And if you don't come out and join with us, let me tell you something. When I first got saved, I would go to prayer. Prayer was an hour. I couldn't pray an hour. I couldn't pray for an hour. I couldn't sit for an hour. So I would go the last 30 minutes. I probably could do 30 minutes. And so I would go. But if you're not doing these things at home, you better go where somebody is. If you're not reading, you better go where somebody is, so that you can begin to connect with them. Because it says that your inheritance is among them that are sanctified. There is an inheritance in this body that when we come and we connect. So if you can't pray for an hour, you can't read for hours. Come where somebody is at so you can begin to partake and connect with the Spirit that's allowing them to do it. Don't sit at home and say, well, I don't want to go because I'm not praying. No, it's a trick. It's a trick. You need to come anyway. Whether you're going to pray or not, you need to come. It would be nice if you did, but you need to come. These are like, it's a cadence. Remember, a pace. It's a cadence. And God is saying, I want to meet with you all on Tuesday. I want to meet with you all on Wednesday. I want to meet with you all on Sunday. And then the rest of the week, I'm going to marinate and talk to you about what I've done on Tuesday, what I've done on Wednesday, and what I've done on Sunday. See, some of us feel bad because we're not really doing what we're supposed to do. But this time to not feel bad. It's time to just do it. Even if you just got a little bit, whatever you have, just come and bring it. Just come and offer it. You don't bring increase to yourself, no way. It's by the Spirit of God. God brings forth the increase. But if you don't come and offer him something to work with, ain't nothing going to happen. You can keep on saying, well, you know what? God, increase me in my reading. Increase me in prayer. God, enlarge me. God, strengthen me. God, we can say all of that, but if you don't offer him nothing to work with, baby, ain't nothing happening. Right. And you are, but like he said, you're fooling yourself. And it's time for us to come away from that deception, making us think that we're something that we're not. And then we sit and we hear and we say, oh, we're lined up. You a lie. You're not lined up. You're not in line with what the word is saying. You're not in line with what God is declaring to us as a house. You're not. You're not. You appease your conscience because you come into this building.